So a guy just asked me, what's a good way to find better business efficiency? Told him, head down the road, take a right, then go 76 East, and then go via 680. We'll take you on that route tonight on NEOtropolis. This is not business as usual. Welcome to NEOtropolis. We are not business as usual. Hi, I'm your host, Jim Evans. Tonight, we revisit a young company in Northeast Ohio that has changed direction somewhat since our first encounter. And what they're doing is making a significant change in the direction of business email communication. We'll forward that to you in a few moments. But first, we take a look at regional business news from the NEOtropolis Good Business News Aggregator.
This is the good business news along the I-77 corridor for the week of February 14th. Tuesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer business section reports that Cleveland's diversified industrial manufacturer, the Eaton Corporation, will receive a $2.4 million federal stimulus grant to develop energy-efficient technology for military bases. Tuesday's Akron Beacon Journal front page reports that Akron General Health System is joining forces with a group of local neurosurgeons to establish a neuroscience institute at Akron General Medical Center. The multi-million-dollar investment will utilize smart technology to treat brain cancers and disorders. Tuesday's Akron Beacon Journal business section reports that Columbus-based Huntington Bankshares Incorporated has plans to create 21 new Giant Eagle Huntington Bank locations throughout a 5-county Akron-Canton area, giving the bank a total presence of 57 outlets. Tuesday's Kent Record Courier front page reports that a Columbus-based developer is in talks with the city of Kent to demolish a current standing 192-bed apartment complex and build 3 4-story buildings with a possible total of over 600 beds in its place. Wednesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer business section reports that Grand Rapids, Michigan-based Gordon Food Service has paid the city of South Euclid $2 million for 1.4 acres of the Cedar Center redevelopment site. Construction is expected to begin in March to build a GFS Marketplace store with plans to open it in the fall. Thursday's Cleveland Plain Dealer business section reports that Cleveland-based Cliffs Natural Resources reported that net revenue for 2010 doubled that of 2009, and that net income was more than $1 billion. The company attributes the growth to China's demand for iron ore and coal. Thursday's Akron Beacon Journal business section reports that the Akron-Canton Airport passenger travel was up 5% in January 2011 compared to January 2010. This is the good business news along the I-77 corridor for this week. NEOtropolis is your source for good business news.
What we don't have here is failure to communicate. And there's a company that's playing a cool hand to improve business communication. Check your inbox for more on that in a few moments. But first, we check in with our content partner, the Business Journal. It's time for the Weekly Buzz.
I'm Stacia Ertis with the Business Journal Weekly Buzz for Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley. This week, Forum Health, now owned by Community Health Systems of Tennessee, announced layoffs. Forum says it will lay off 81 employees, with more than half happening at NorThSIDE Medical Center in Youngstown, which will lose 51 positions. Reporter George Nelson spoke with CEO David Fixie by phone.
We're a service industry, and as a service industry, our number one cost is employees, and so we always try to match the volume of the employees to the volume.
Fixie says the reductions represent less than 3% of the 3,300 member workforce in the Mahoning Valley, and very few affect patient care. Funding is on the way to Youngstown State University to expand a program designed to help students and Mahoning Valley businesses take advantage of opportunities in growing overseas markets. YSU's Emerging Markets Initiative has received a $188,000 federal grant. That brings to 3 the project has received from the U.S. Department of Education over the past 5 years, totaling nearly $550,000. Dean Betty Jo Licata says it further cements YSU and the Williamson College of Business Administration's leadership role in international business in Northeast Ohio. The Second Harvest Food Bank distributes a record amount of food in 2010 with more people in need of it. The food bank distributed 8.3 million pounds of food last year, an increase of 1 million pounds over 2009. In 2010, there were more than 670,000 visits to food pantries and soup kitchens served by the food bank.
I'm not sure everyone realizes how generous the people in this community are, because they know that their friends and neighbors are struggling.
The February edition of the Business Journal is now out, and we're excited to let you know about some big changes inside. Our print edition is packed with even more of the news you can use. We've expanded the in-depth news and feature stories you've come to rely on for the insider's perspective you can't find anywhere else. We've also reorganized industry-specific news into 10 beats, arranged in alphabetical order, from accounting to automotive to banking to real estate. On the front page, Ohio Republicans take on the unions. Read the latest edition of the Business Journal. And those are this week's headlines. Be sure to check out the Buzz newscast every business day online at businessjournaldaily.com. I'm Stacia Ertis. We'll see you next week.
And now it's time for a NEOtropolis fact.
Did you know that 26 of the Fortune 1000 companies are headquartered in the Northeast Ohio region?
So you have a startup company, and as you move forward, you will certainly encounter crossroads. Then what do you do when you come to the fork in the road? You take it. A small company in downtown Youngstown has now been there, done that. What they've done is taken a somewhat different road from their initial course, and they're the only ones traveling this route in Northeast Ohio. We had the chance to spend time again, now at Via 680, and got a closer look at how they've changed to the fast lane of business communication.
They aren't out to reinvent the wheel, but they are out to reinvent email on a business platform. But that was not the original intent of Via 680. Initially founded by BizVio, the primary focus was on video online for use in healthcare. But then came a time and need to add to that, bringing a change of name and direction for the company.
When we originally launched, a name was very appropriate for the primary value proposition, and that was mixing video over the internet. But what we found over about a year and a half of working in the marketplace, that we had a much bigger and much more valuable proposition, and that was to go after and become a business intelligence data aggregation tool. And as a result, we needed to repackage ourselves and rebrand ourselves.
They did so with a revised vision and the subsequent development of a new product, IntelliSling. This software application will enhance as well as expedite the communication process. Basically, allow a business to work smarter.
So what we've done is we've taken the silos of social networking, of business intelligence tools, of email and data aggregation, and pushed it into one thing we call IntelliSling. And it's about moving rapidly around your organization intelligence. So it's a simple to use tool that is literally going to redefine the way we think of email and the way we communicate daily. Every day of the week, there's approximately 247 billion emails sent out to people around the world. We think that this is a unique opportunity for us to come in and give people a new tool set to use to capture intelligence and move intelligence around their organization.
Whether your goal is driving sales, performance improvements, or connecting with customers,
this tool set allows you to better do that by economizing the process in packaging various elements in email communication. For example, perhaps your company has to implement a safety policy that you need to get to your team in the field to review at several locations. IntelliSling bunches all the information that they need to have to interact with. The documentation, training, and/or videos, surveys, and questions are sent in one correspondence. Your team receives a video and questions for them to answer. Their interaction in real time goes back to you in the IntelliFlow module. This then allows you to immediately evaluate the communication that's been sent and measure their compliance and see if everyone understands and is on the same page. And versatility is also an advantage.
You can use it for daily communications and or more formalized communications. And so if you want to shoot from your webcam and send somebody a message, you're good to go. If you want to go into the studio and produce a high-end event that you want to time release over a series of dates and milestones, you can do that as well.
Tony says the new venture has its share of challenges, such as gauging the timing of significant events. To better deal with that, a restructured team has been put in place with the addition of R&D people along with systems engineers. This tight-knit staff now numbers 14 with an ambitious goal to grow. But just how much?
That's a good question. So it's hard to tell how large of a company will be. Yeah. We have a primary objective of grow revenues and match the headcount to the extent that it needs to be matched. What we don't want to do is build a company of 1,000 people. Okay. We want to build a company that generates global revenue, brings it back into Ohio, and do that with the right number of people. So it's not like we have to have a 10-floor call center and stuff like that. And that's kind of our objective, is to get large enough that we can sustain a global market.
To get there, you often have to work inside out, and that means achieving a strong position in the regional market, as in the Cleveland to Youngstown to Pittsburgh corridor, and you get there via 680 as an interstate.
That corridor plays very big in our plans, as well as has played in our plans to date. We're off of 680. It's completely right on the path. And to date, it's actually proved very well for us. We get a lot of interest from VCs and angels out of Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Jim brings them into the building, gives them the tour, meets them, introduces them to us. And there's very influential, very prominent markets, and we're fortunate to be right in between the two of them with very prominent potential customers, stone's throw away. So the networking and becoming a professional business within that corridor is very important to us.
Thank you for the business. It was really good.
Also very important for a company such as Via 680 has been to be with Jim Kostler in the Youngstown Incubator.
Every day there's new opportunities to showcase your business. Every day there's new opportunities to meet new potential customers. Every day there's new opportunities for you to leverage the expertise of other individuals either in the building or outside of the building. And all of those things that come together really just change the name of the game. If you were not in this building, if you were out somewhere else in leased space, out on your own, the cycles that you would have to burn to get to meet some of the people that we've met that helped us accelerate our growth, it would just be exponentially more.
For a small company to have that type of growth, you have to have the right people within, and a Youngstown base provides possible leverage for that.
Being in Youngstown affords some possibilities that don't necessarily come your way if you were based in a larger city. And one of those has to be a lower cost of living. So you still want to pay people well and pay them fairly, but to go get some serious talent from the Youngstown area that really understands the value that they can bring to the table, whether it be in sales or product development, your money goes a little bit further, and you're able to really secure some very good talent.
And that will help Via 680 secure its eventual place in the global market. But for now,
our short-term goals are really to capitalize on the momentum that we've already created, and really within the next 6 to 24 months see that turn into some type of hockey stick growth. That's what an entrepreneur in technology industry is all about.
Are you not doing business as usual? Then email us at neotropolis.org. Tell us how you're changing your business, organization, or government agency to compete in the new economy. And who knows, you could be starring on NEOtropolis, Not Business as Usual. So we took a look at business communication from a microeconomic point of view. Now we talk with experts in the field for a macroeconomic perspective, or what we like to call fly-eye economics.
With over 4,000 lenses, the eyes of a common housefly are among the most complex in the insect world.
With us tonight are panelists Kendall Wouters, IT entrepreneur in residence with JumpStart Entrepreneurial Network, and Jeffrey Gross, consultant and author of Workforce Planning, 90-Day Action Plan. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. Now, this company a year ago, had a different name. They do a big switch. Talk about the consequences, possible consequences, and or otherwise, of changing your name like that for a small startup.
The biggest thing that entrepreneurs have to worry about is going down a path of branding. And what will happen is when you spend a lot of money trying to get folks to associate your name with an entity, what happens is there's a lot of energy that gets lost. And usually what happens is they have to restart the engines, if you will. So there is some negatives to that, but there is some theories behind why it's good. What happens is they don't actually pigeonhole themselves with a specific name. For example, their first name was BizVio, so it lends itself to video and business. What now they can do is think about a little bit more broader of market.
Yeah. In fact, Jim, it's really not unusual, and Kendall, you probably have experienced this in multiple entrepreneurial world. McKinsey did kind of 3 principles around the entrepreneurial side. And what they state is this would be called second generation. So it's not unusual that you create this kind of adaptive model, right? Mm-hmm. And the second generation can pick up off of intellectual property that's unique that you have, or possibly a service or product, and you're adapting as you move along. So not unusual at all. The fact that they chose to rebrand has probably put them slightly behind the curve, a little bit more challenging, but not unusual.
Being the incubator as they are, does that allow a company to do things like this, or better allow them to do that?
Well, you could probably speak more directly to the incubator itself.
To make the change.
Well, it's not a the branding is not a obstacle for them. As far as in the incubation part of it, it's more of a strategic, flexible, agile type of an environment. Branding can, like I said earlier, it can defer the road, if you will, from adding more money. Where they could put it more into talent. The incubator helps cultivate the talent. Right. So regardless of the branding, it depends if they had a lot of traction, a lot of customers, associate them to one name. The incubator wouldn't necessarily help change the structure of the existing branding. However, the incubator is more, let's be more flexible. Let's encourage them to find their way before they get too far down the road.
Yeah, and this issue of talent, when it comes to entrepreneurs, finding who's going to fit with us as we go forward, as we become. One of the issues around second generation is that this group that now exists, that has survived, typically they find they're more faster to make decisions. They're more focused because they understand what it is in the product. When we took a look at, if you're taking peel back the onion on who the entrepreneurs are, there was a study done recently that showed we thought at one time that entrepreneurs, and I'm not sure about the folks that are running via 680, but they thought these are risk takers. That's the big thing. Right. These guys are risk takers. Right. Well, come to find out that's not necessarily true. That risk taking across all demographics is pretty standard, but what these individuals are is they have a different view of risk. Okay. So it's their risk perception, not their risk propensity. And the big thing that they do, and I find this in entrepreneurs in my life, is that they have this ability to focus on what you call smaller numbers. They don't need a lot of validation on where they're going. Just a few data points, because they don't mind taking the risk. They see the risk totally differently.
And that comes with their change of their leadership team.
Yeah.
Talk about that, though, for a small company, again, having a change at the top, as they have, and the impact of that, if you can get into that.
Yeah, well, if you're changing the leadership at the top, and frankly, if you find pairs or multiple individuals that kind of think and right. have the same focus. For instance, you'd think the names Wozniak and Allen don't necessarily ring a bell. But gee, if you think of the name Gates and Jobs, right. they do. Hewlett and Packard have always been linked together. So if you have two together, it's much easier than what we call like a solopreneur, somebody who's just an individual off running on their own. But if you have an incubator set up and you have the scenarios that are involved with venture capital, what you have this wild card. So you have the actual individuals who are going to help you decide to make the change too. Because these are partners, right? These are guys that they're looking to make money.
Yeah, and you have, as an entrepreneur, you have to kind of be crazy, right? You essentially cannot fit into a specific comfort zone. And what happens is when you have specific leaders and you start to try to find a market. And when you're finding the market, you're saying, okay, this is kind of where I'm at. And a lot of partnerships say, well, I kind of think it's this market, somebody thinks it's that market. So what happens is the team determines how they're actually going to keep the momentum. And so once the team starts finding the validation, finding the metrics to say, yes, this product we can sell, because they essentially went boots on the ground, went out to find some customers, then they come back and say, you know, if we mold this a little bit, we can sell another one and another one. And sometimes the leadership starts to break apart saying, well, I know that customer kind of validated that idea, but maybe I want to go this way. So the entrepreneurs essentially are trying to find that scalable, repeatable model, and they have to drop all their comfort zones, and sometimes the partners just don't see that way once the momentum goes.
The thing I would encourage anybody who's in the second stage or that they're moving along is that the challenge is find individuals that are going to fit this entrepreneurial side.
Tony talked about that.
So it's more really about finding the who than the what. Mm-hmm. And typically companies will look at the same group of suspects over and again. Oh, we need a big person company to come in, you know, or this big company person comes in, and what they find is they don't make decisions fast enough. They want to have somebody, if you're interviewing somebody, the first thing they say is, well, what's my team look like? Mm-hmm. You say, well, you go look in the mirror because you are the team, buddy.
Right. You mentioned product, and of course, let's talk specific to the product implemented here by Via 680. In Northeast Ohio, not exactly Silicon Valley, but how do you see what they're doing fit into and find its place in Northeast Ohio?
Oh, I'll go.
Sure.
The big thing is for there is no differentiation when you talk about, we call it over the wire. And essentially, if you can do things that are over the wire, you have no real geography advantage. Funding, maybe. But what Tony's been able to do with his team is essentially find a customer that is used to using technology that could be from Silicon Valley or Chicago or Austin. But what Tony's able to do is tap into this other technology and solve a problem. And what he can do is go into specific things like Salesforce.com, LinkedIn, things that customers that he is pursuing are already comfortable with, apply his technology that way. And essentially, when the folks see that he is solving a problem, they don't care if he's from Youngstown or Kalamazoo.
Yeah. Gentlemen, you've been a great panel. We have run out of time, but we sure appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Again, it looks like a prosperous road ahead for Via 680. And with that, it's time now for Into the Future.
Into the future.
Hi. I'm Ann Winters, the Regional Training Manager for Airgas Great Lakes. Headquartered in Independence, Ohio, Airgas Great Lakes is one of 12 regional companies that make up the Airgas distribution business. Pennsylvania-based Airgas Incorporated is the largest U.S. distributor of industrial, medical, and specialty gases. We are also one of the nation's leading suppliers of hard goods, such as welding equipment and safety products. Locally, Airgas Great Lakes serves a 4-state region, including Ohio, Michigan, Western Pennsylvania, and Northeast Indiana. Our more than 930 employees work together at 85 locations to meet the ever-changing needs of our customers. More than 200 of those employees are drivers who continue to make Airgas Great Lakes proud by bringing home a number of fleet safety awards each year. Airgas Great Lakes is committed to growing with local businesses and the community. As such, Airgas and Airgas Great Lakes have made significant local investments. We've added 6 new industrial and specialty gas fill plants to this region and have plans to continue to build several more facilities in the coming year. We have also grown by acquiring several independent companies, allowing us to bring our products closer to our customers. Our customers, including those in the Northeast Ohio region, can be found in a diverse range of businesses, from industrial manufacturing to utilities, and from analytical and life sciences to the food and beverage industry. We're in your hospitals and on our highways, at energy supply companies and on college campuses, at construction sites, and at your local grocery store. Airgas Great Lakes offers the right products at the right locations with the right expertise to help our customers consolidate products and streamline the purchases of gases, welding, safety, and related products. To find out more about Airgas Great Lakes, please visit our website at www.airgas.com, where I know you'll find it with us.
We now shift gears for a scan of the financial field, and the experts at NCA Financial Planners are here to help us do that now with a stock wrap.
This week's local company stock spotlight is First Energy Corp., headquartered in Akron, Ohio. We are all familiar with the name First Energy, as many of us associate it with paying our electric bills every month. First Energy is comprised of 7 electric utility companies, which make this Akron company the nation's 5th largest investor-owned electric system. This Fortune 200 company serves 4.5 million customers across Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. In 2009, with an understanding of the importance of developing and deploying renewable energy, First Energy announced their largest renewable project. This project involves repowering 2 coal-fired units at the R.E. Berger plant in Shadyside, Ohio. This repowering will generate electricity primarily with biomass. When the retrofit is complete, currently scheduled for 2012, the Berger plant is expected to be one of the largest biomass facilities in the United States. First Energy trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol FE. On February 16th, First Energy reported that 2010 fourth quarter profit fell 24% due to higher expenses and other headwinds. The midweek close for First Energy was $38.42. Year-to-date, the stock is positive 3.78%. However, over the last 5 years, First Energy is negative 21.42%. Back to you, Jim.
There are plenty of roads that lead to culture and entertainment in Northeast Ohio, and we have the guy who is out in front of the fast lane on that. Cool Cleveland's Thomas Mulready joins us now to tell you about some other events that are going on in NEOtropolis this weekend. What we're talking about is the business of fun.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and this week we are talking about cool art all throughout the region. We are here today at Spaces Art Gallery in Cleveland, and behind me, what you see, yes, it's a bunch of couches. What it is, this is a group from Los Angeles called Machine Project, and this piece is called their Couch Bleacher Stadium. And they're going to be doing events all throughout the month, all the way through April 1st. Things like deconstruction karaoke, where you bring something and sing about it, and then you get to destroy it at the end of it. So they sound like a lot of fun. Check them out. All kinds of events throughout the month. And also another artist from Akron who's going to be featured here, Elizabeth Dunphy. Her piece is called Manic Growth, and this is about microscopic cells, and she projects these images onto a wall where she has her own installation already built. So check that out at Spaces as well, all the way through April 1st. And then in Akron, the Emily Davis Gallery at the University of Akron, they have their 10th annual International Shoebox Sculpture Exhibition, which is any sculpture literally that could fit inside of a shoebox. Pretty cool. They've done this before. And Camille Uterbach, she is a MacArthur Genius Grant winner. She has an interactive digital installation there at the Emily Davis Gallery at the University of Akron. And then over to Lorain County Community College, the Beth Stalker Art Gallery. They've got a Textile Arts Alliance exhibition up. This is embroidery, quilting, fiber. That's going to be up throughout February and March. So it's chilly out, folks. Check out your local art galleries for some really cool art. This is Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in NEOtropolis.
Now, always remember, there are things that you can do to help the Northeast Ohio economy. One way is to get out to any of the events Thomas told us about and make your investment in fun. You can also position yourself out there and make your brilliant comments about the Northeast Ohio economy to plenty of your connections online and tell them to spread the word. In the meantime, log on to our website, neotropolis.org, and tell us what you think. I'm Jim Evans. We'll see you next week on NEOtropolis, not business as usual.
Funding for NEOtropolis has been provided by the Burton D. Morgan Foundation, committed to the free enterprise system.
First Place Bank is proud to sponsor NEOtropolis. As a community bank, First Place Bank believes we are only as strong as the communities we serve. Locally owned businesses are the cornerstone of our communities. We concentrate on helping local businesses make the most of their resources through a variety of services delivered with a community banking touch.
The Dominion Foundation. JumpStart, working with entrepreneurs to accelerate the growth of their high-potential businesses to create a more prosperous economic future for Northeast Ohio. The Raymond John Ween Foundation. Youngstown Business Incubator.
Next week on NEOtropolis, more buzz, stock wrap, and into the future. Find out who is not doing business as usual. Now stay tuned for Newsnight.